All right, welcome everybody. This is Cade with Go Wellness, and we are so excited to have you on the webinar today. So welcome everyone. Um, Today you guys are in for a treat because you get to hear from me the whole time. uh, so Reagan's working on some trainings with Dan Sullivan, and so I'm going to be going over the office manager role, some daily checklists, and some of the different roles that you may have at your clinic. And so before I jump into all that, I want to remind everyone our next event is it's going to be April 1st and 2nd for the Healthcare Entrepreneur and Functional Medicine Group. That's going to be in Salt Lake City. That'll be downtown Salt Lake. The Friday before that, from 1 to 5, will be the Structural Alignment Blueprint for Acupuncture Success training. That'll be at the East West Health Clinic. It's a great opportunity to come in and really learn some more things there. So make sure, if you haven't had a chance to get registered for that next event, make sure you do get registered as soon as possible. It's going to be a great one. Reagan's been working really hard on updating the manual, and so make sure you get there. I'll probably be sending out some additional emails over the next week to remind you to get confirmed for that and everything. So let's hop in more regarding the webinar today. So I'm going to be touching on just checklists and different things that you can start implementing into your practice right now. So Reagan went over the case manager checklist last week, and I think that is a great. Let me see. I'm having some. My files are all messed up, and it's making me take care of this. That's why I keep stuttering. Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to record this so everyone can have future access to it, but in order to record, I need to grab a couple things, so bear with me for just a moment. All right. So yeah, last week Reagan, he had. All right, we're good to go. So last week Reagan went over the case manager daily checklist, and I think everyone really appreciated that. They got some good insights and everything into that. One thing I want you to keep in mind, if you are a one practitioner show or a two or a three person show, all these different duties should be enveloped into so there could be a case manager, office manager combined, and so you're not going to have as much to do if you're a smaller organization, but you definitely want to be covering off on all these tasks and all these items to make sure that things are flowing well, you're structured and set up for growth. These things can really help propel you to the next level. So yeah, don't just discount this if you don't have a case manager, if you don't have a office manager, if you're kind of the one person doing all these things. That's totally fine. These are things that you should be doing if that's the case. So, and then if you are a client of Go Wellness, obviously you'll have access to these documents, and so you can create your own checklist and kind of customize them and everything. And also, we'll get you coached up on them if you need that as well. So, all right, well, let's jump in. So, before I jump in, does anyone want to, if you have any questions or anything specific to this topic, don't be afraid to send something in the chat box or in the questions. I'll try to keep track of that as much as possible. But let's dive in. and start going over so this is the Office Manager slash CFO daily checklist. So a lot of these are customized to East West, but also they can be transferred to any place. So if you don't want your office manager dealing with the financials, then it's just going to be the office manager role. But in the grand scheme of things, it's you want to get you're going to need to get someone involved in the financials at some point, because unless that's your gig and you love digging into the financials. But most of the time you are helping people get better and treating them, and it's really hard to focus on all the daily expenses and everything that can come in if you're focused on that hat. So let's dive in. So first piece, so you're going to arrive at the office. You're going to check in with the team and really look at daily productions and assess the needs. So daily productions, looking at how many patient visits are scheduled, how many new patients, some of those things. You're going to check impact filters. So impact filters are a way that we use to create projects. So it just assigns different tasks and has a very specific goal of everything that's needed. And I just got a question. Nam, yes, this is not up right now, but it will be. There's a few final tweaks that Reagan's finalizing on a few other job tasks, and then we'll have them all uploaded under the documents and everything. So yes, it will be soon. And if you want just you email me personally, and Nam, and I can email this document to you as well. All right, so you're going to check the impact filters. That's any projects that you're working on, different goals, and make sure that you're moving those forward. Obviously, you want to be setting daily goals and looking at how you're trending for the week and how you're trending for the month, so you can really set people up for everything there. So along with that, you're going to want to make sure, and you noticed last week, if you're on, how we're very big on like what's the result of that. So we always want to have, if there's a task, what's the purpose of that, what's the result. So the results, if you do that first checklist, you're going to have high productivity, and you're going to have clinic expansion at the top of mind. So you're always pushing projects forward. You're always looking at how productivity is and seeing what needs to be changed to make it better. So this office manager role is really there to help identify potential bottlenecks or problems, and then create a solution to, or at least seek out the people that can solve the problem to get those issues cleared up, and really just helps things run much more smooth. All right, so next piece is ensuring that policies and procedures exist and are adhered to by the team. This is a big one. If you don't have someone making sure that things are being adhered to, they're verifying that people are showing up on time, keeping commitments, moving in the right direction, you need someone there that's going to hold people accountable. Whether that's you or someone else, you got to make sure someone is ensuring that all those different pieces are being fulfilled, everything's operational, and the result of that, you're going to have a supportive structure for everyone to work in. They're going to feel supported. They're going to feel like they have someone to talk to, and they have personal issues. Now, it's not a counselor, so sometimes our office manager in the Salt Lake office, Chris, feels like she is a counselor at times, and so you got to make sure that that's not the purpose of this role. You can do the kind of what we call the bitching and moaning, or the if there's problems, bring that up in the team meeting in front of everyone, so everyone can know what's going on. Obviously, if there's personal issues, handle that personally. But yeah, usually it's a lot better if the whole team realizes, oh, this is a bottleneck or this is a problem, and so they can come up with that in the team meeting. So this is not a counseling session by any means if someone's working with the office manager on different problems. Verifies stats for the previous day. So this is number 3 here. So we're looking at verifying stats for the previous day, double checks accounting. So you remember case manager made sure that they made sure each of their cases were collected on. But then the office manager needs to double check that actually got deposited. Those checks got deposited. Those things followed through. I'm going to pay all bills on a weekly basis with nothing outstanding. That's a big one, especially if you're doing like high-ticket items like stem cells or different things that have somewhat higher costs. What'll happen is you'll see, you'll get huge deposits, but if you're not paying off those accounts receivables in a timely fashion, it will create a very false sense of profitability. And so just make sure that those things are getting paid for timely. We prefer to each week we're getting those taken care of. If you're a smaller organization, biweekly or even monthly works in some cases. But yeah, if you're doing high volume, you could have bills for 20, 30, 40,000 in a week. And so you got to make sure that you're taking care of those, because if you're not, you're going to have a very false sense of comfort when it comes to cash flow. And then at the end of the month, it really hurts when you write a much bigger check than you'd imagine. One policy that we have ensures that we have 0 accounts receivable and that all procedures, programs, services are paid in advance. And that can mean, obviously, we do the 3 installments, or we can do installments. Sometimes we'll extend different payment plans, but it's all automated, and so you're making sure that those things are going through. There's nothing falling through the cracks. We don't want to be a collections agency. That's not our role. So that's why we create things that are paid in advance. It's very smooth, transparent, and it makes for a much more financial viable organization. Another role and another really good thing for the office manager to do is check in with new team members. So anyone that's new within the last 30 to, I would even say, 90 days, check in with them. Make sure they understand any policies, procedures that are new, or things that maybe they need a little coaching on. They need a little better understanding. Make sure they feel like each role is getting the right support. They're appreciated, and then also using the Kobe profile to find unique abilities. The office manager is also going to be in charge of running ads for hiring new team members for the future growth. We, especially in a bigger group, you always want to be looking at bringing in new talent and new people, because that's really how you grow. And you can have a huge database of different applicants. So when you actually do need to hire someone, hopefully you have a big list, and you can pick out a few that look solid. And half the time they're gonna have already found a job, but the other half you can get lucky, maybe even steal them from that other job. But you can. That's a really important piece of growing, is always looking for good talent. The best people that I've found, and this is something that the office manager should look at, is if you're at a restaurant, or if you're getting something done and you're at a business and you really like the person, how they interact, how attentive they are, you know, talk to them and see how they like their job there, and maybe they'd be interested in working with you. Um, and that's a great way as well. Everyone has, at least if you follow the webinars, you worked with Reagan, you should understand the Kobe profile. If you don't, go to Kobe. It's KOLBE, uh, KobeProfile.com. You can take the Kobe profile test. The result, if you're doing this, you're going to have the best trained, most incredible new members that help you achieve goals. Because that's the ultimate goal, is you want everyone on the same purpose line, everyone excited, trained, and bought in, and so that feeling appreciated, supported in their new roles is huge. That goes for practitioners too, and the office manager can really help with flow of the practitioners. Obviously, they're not going to teach them how to stick needles in someone, or how to adjust someone, or how to advise on something, but they can teach them how to better influence people. The clinic flow is probably the biggest piece, is how to follow their schedule and make sure they're timely, and some of those things. All right, next checklist, or next box is holds the entire team accountable for goals, commitments, and maintains high morale, supports and confronts and communicates team members who are not meeting or exceeding goals. Maybe they're showing up late or running behind the schedule, and they're also going to determine when termination is necessary. So some things to keep in mind there. So we've already kind of gone over the goals. They should be looking at, your main stats are going to be events, ROFs, people attending events, ROFs scheduled, and close rates, and then obviously collections. Those are the main stats that they're looking at. But also when they dig into the meat of it, if a practitioner gets multiple complaints, that's going to be a concern, but from a patient, obviously, or if staff members are having a tough time dealing with them, that's something that needs to be coached on and discussed with that team member. Making sure that they're meeting expectations and working to expand that. So, and then also running behind schedule, that'll happen a lot, especially if you're in a busy clinic. So that office manager's got to be on top of helping coach and guide the practitioners that may be running behind, help them move in the right direction. It's not ever going to be perfect, but if you have someone driving that ship, it sure does make it a lot easier. The result's going to be team is performing at the highest level, and then they also know when they're not. Because it's not necessarily that you want to put them down, that they're not performing at their highest level, but you do want to help them understand, hey, we can do a lot better than this. You guys, last week we did XYZ. We did this many different procedures or treatments in a day, and now today we're running 30 minutes behind, and we have the exact same patient load or maybe even less. So just helping people understand where you're at comparatively and what you're able to accomplish, because we all get, at times we're all going to get complacent and think, all right, yeah, we're doing great, we've met all these goals. And at some point, there's going to be a little dip, and that person that's there to say, okay, guys, it's time to step up our game. We got a little complacent. That's how you grow. That's how you prosper. That's really how you get that edge, especially in a team environment. So next list, so reviews expenses daily and signs off on new ordering of products. So we do purchase orders. In the Salt Lake clinic, they do a lot more regularly, but If there's ever a new product line that one of our practitioners or anyone wants to bring online, that's got to be approved through the Office Manager. And so they got to kind of show their case of why this is important and why they should add that in. So they're also going to look at ordering, medical supplies, materials, make sure needles are in, any furniture remodeling. That's another big one. If there's more chairs needed, they need to be on top of that and be able to see that and have the ability to order that. Creates marketing budget with the marketing director and negotiates better rates from vendors. So that's a big one, especially as you get higher volume. You always want to be negotiating better rates with your vendors, and it's not all the time, but even with like lab companies, we've been able to work with different lab companies and say, hey, this is how much volume we do with you. What kind of rate can you get us better with? Because we can go somewhere else and get it for cheaper, but we'd prefer to stay with you guys. And they'll usually come up with a little a better rate for you to pay for labs, or sometimes you can get it with herbs and supplements. Sometimes that's a little harder because those margins are different. But use always look to negotiate, especially volume. So if you order 10 of something and you get one for free, it would make sense to do that and just order a lot less often, because it will save you money. Obviously, if you're having to fork out that money for inventory and your cash flow is in a different space, then that might not be the best thing. So I'm not saying that applies to everyone, but especially if you don't go through it that fast. If it's going to sit on your shelf for longer than 90 days, I would say just order what you need immediately that'll last you the next 60 days or so. All right, so result, you're going to save the clinic money and decrease waste. Next piece, implements new ideas and systems into processes and hands the new processes off to the team. So what that means is this office manager role is, they can help cultivate new ideas through the team, and obviously themselves they can come up with new ideas, but you want to be working with the team to come up with new ideas and systems, and then it's their job to really help cultivate that and then hand it off to who's going to be the best person to push that over the finish line, because we all want to work in groups and teams and come up with those projects together, and not just one person is doing all the work. They're also going to have weekly check-ins to make sure those new systems are in place and operational. That's really going to set you up for good growth and expansion. So next, ensure that existing procedures and administrative lines are kept in place and working. So a lot of times we'll set up a policy or set up some administrative process or policy, and it's not a lot of times, but sometimes, and for some reason that falls out. People stop collecting for the initial consultation because this person didn't have the card on them, and so they let it go, and then it just like trickles down. And so you always want to make sure that those existing policies and procedures and administrative lines are in place. And so it's just a simple checking in, making sure the notes are documented right, and if they're not, help people understand, okay, we got to make sure we're taking care of these things, and then this is why. I always like to make sure people understand the why. Like our policy is, when you schedule a new patient, you have to explain what, in the notes you're explaining what their health problem is, how they heard about us. Well, and that's going to be in a different place, but then also they got to mark, did they pay, yes or no, and that should always be yes. So just mark they paid, and then initial it with whoever the staff member was, so it's easy to look at and say, okay, so and so scheduled this person, they paid, They've got all the emails. They're good to go. All right, so and that's really going to help you have a better unified organization that's moving into a bigger future. So um, so second to last one, handling payroll is it's a big one for the office manager. They're going to verify um, that objectives are being met with each team member in all human resources. So objectives meaning, so we have a probationary period for training. So when we onboard someone, they're at a lower base pay. And then after that, once they can check off each of their different tasks and things, we'll bump them up to their regular pay or their actual hired upon pay. And so the office manager's role is to make sure that they're moving towards those objectives and they're accomplishing those objectives that they need to accomplish. They're also going to approve time off. You definitely want to make sure you have a policy for this. Typically our policy is 2 weeks in advance, and you have to have someone that can cover your time. Schedule changes, sick leave, salary changes, insurance seminars, trainings, all those different components. We'll typically, for seminars, if someone wants to go to a seminar, we'll typically set up a certain amount of money per quarter that the clinic has to pay towards external trainings and things. Results is a clearly defined process and a place for team resources and accountability, and you make sure that your employees are paid timely. That's a big one. You don't want to mix up payroll ever. If you got a decent sized team, that's really frustrating. All right, so last piece, makes organizational decisions, manages the entire operations based on founder's vision of future goal growth. So really the office manager role is they are there to either help the founders make the decisions, or if you're in that role, because some of you are single solopreneurs, or you're just getting started out, so it's just you, or maybe you and someone else, and you're doing the office management. You're going to be making a lot of organizational decisions that obviously should be moving towards your vision for your future growth of your clinic, of your enterprise, or whatever you're trying to create. The result of that's going to be more strategic growth, where ideas are made real, they're reoccurring because you have teamwork and leadership out of that. That's really the biggest piece, is making sure you have that vision and understanding of where you want to grow this to. If you want to stay, I would never recommend someone just be a solopreneur in this role, because it's just going to be a lot of work. But you can be as big or small as you'd like, with a few different team members or a lot of team members. Great. All right, so Nam, I'm going to share this with everyone. So Nam's writing some things. I'm gonna share this if you don't mind. So so I have an excellent staff member. Have excellent staff who's good at all the office management, really hardworking. But this person is always 10 minutes late. What should you do? So I guess my question is first of all is why are they 10 minutes late? Typically, if they're always 10 minutes late, that's because we've allowed them to be 10 minutes late. So I've dealt with this in the past, and it's really just as simple as having a conversation with them. And I always like to put it on more of an emotional basis. So, like you don't make it personal, but it also is personal once you've asked them to not do something and they do it again. You've even bought her an alarm clock. Okay, well, yeah, so obviously she's got some time management issues. So she's got to figure out how to get there, but there's got to be some consequences. If so, it sounds like obviously you've talked to her about it, but I would just say at this point, like, okay, you're 10 minutes late. You've been 10 minutes late every single day this week. I've talked to you about this before. Um, like, is it you just you don't care? Um, or is there something that you're not able to do to get here? And really what you need to figure out is what do you need to do to make sure that you're here on time? Because look at it from my perspective as being the office manager, as being that leader of this group. And also, if you look at it, if we all showed up 10 minutes late, what would happen? Do you think our patients would be really excited? What if you went somewhere and the whole staff was 10 minutes late? How would you feel? That's not a professional environment that I would want to work in. So I really need you to commit yourself to actually showing up on time and being ready to work when it's time. I understand things happen, but you also have control on what happens there. So whether it's you waking up, it's 10 minutes. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. It's not that difficult. You can brush your teeth on the way to work. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but yeah, it really comes down to respect. So if I notice that someone is habitually doing that, I just tell them how it's making me feel. Say, hey, I know like you work really hard here. I love it when you're here. You're one of our best performers, but I'm starting to feel like you don't respect me because I've asked you multiple times to be on time, and you're consistently late. Um, is it like a respect issue? Do you not care if you're late? And just really put it back on them and help them understand that it's a crucial part of the expectation of that job. If they're not showing up on time, um, that that sets a precedence that everyone else can be late. And so just create it in the culture and help them. And I would even like a lot of times when we have situations like that, they can become one of the strongest people in their greatest weakness in the future. And so just make sure you address it. It sounds like you've addressed it a few times, Nam. But at the end of the day, she's got to get her act together. And then I would ask her, okay, so if you were in my shoes, this is a really good question, but if you were in my shoes, say you're the clinic owner or the office manager, and you had someone that was late every single day, so what would you recommend I do? That's always a good thing because you can just put it back on them, and then it helps them understand, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I'm totally like messing with this person's job or this person's thing, and so it takes away from them being a victim of like, oh, my kid was up till 1 a.m. or whatever. Everyone has an excuse of why they're late. I have a million of them. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the result, and so we need to make sure they get out of that victim mindset of like, oh, well, all these things are happening to me, and turn it around into like what they can do different, and then also help them understand how it's affecting everyone else. Hopefully that was helpful. Thanks, Nam. I like that was a great question. All right, so these last pieces are some different checklists that are different ways that the office manager can put together some of their stats. So obviously you can track daily expenses, daily revenues, daily profits, and then you can do your um, monthly profits goals. We really like this. So what are 3 wins for today, for the day? for the today. I like that. 3 wins for the day. And then what are 3 wins going to be for tomorrow? So look at today, we have 3 ROF scheduled. We have this going on. Everyone was on time today. Those are some wins for today. Tomorrow, what are some wins going to be? We're going to collect over 25K or whatever. Just look at the future of tomorrow. Look at what's on the schedule and make some really good projections into tomorrow, because we are what we see in the future, and so you always want to be visualizing what you want to accomplish for the following day. And then the last piece is you can cash flow comfort on a scale of 0 to 100%. That's going to be really up to the owners to decide that comfort level of how much cash flow they want to be seeing. All right, so this is a little bit shorter webinar than your typical one, but I hope this was helpful. This was the Office Manager CFO Daily Checklist. Before I jump off, I'll give you guys some time to write in any additional questions or comments you want to make. But ultimately, what I want to make sure you guys have is start organizing your systems into responsibilities. So maybe it's just you right now and you have these 5 different responsibilities, but make sure you have someone that's taking on the case manager role, someone that's taking on the office manager role, and then obviously you have the practitioner roles and things. And we have a marketing director checklist and also practitioner checklist that we'll go through in the future. But these things I think they're really going to help propel the future growth of your clinic. They'll help organize things a little better so you understand exactly what's expected, or each person understands what's expected of them, because that's always a nice thing to have when you start a new job, is having a clear expectation. Sometimes, or a lot of times, like in our roles, people are going to have overlap, and so the case manager is going to do some of what the office manager do, or sometimes the office manager might be the case manager as well. But that's where you can have some good dynamics. Thank you guys so much for attending today. Just another reminder, make sure you get registered for our upcoming webinar. That's going to be, or not webinar, but our next event. So April 1st and 2nd in downtown Salt Lake City. That'll be the Session 1 Healthcare Entrepreneur Program. Reagan has actually redone that whole manual. It's going to be some amazing content. So current clients, don't miss it. It's going to be the best one yet. If you're not a current client, you need to figure out how you can become one. So email me at info@gowellness.com, and we'll take you through some pieces and see if maybe it's a good fit and we could work with you longer term. Also, March 31st, the Friday before, from 1 to 5, is our structural alignment training, or blueprint for acupuncture success. That's going to go through some technique of needling, structural alignment, also some coaching pieces there as well on expanding the acupuncture only side. So thank you guys once again so much for joining us today. You are amazing, and yeah, feel free to reach out to us, info@gowellness.com, and you guys have a wonderful day.